Let him not boast who puts his armor on as he who takes it off. Have you read that?
Tap? I have heard that.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's from, though. It's from a movie, isn't it?
No, it's actually the Bible.
Oh.
It's Hezekiah.
Hezekiah.
Yeah.
Hezekiah.
The king, Hezekiah.
Hezekiah's not a book, though.
No, not a book.
That's a trivia question right there.
All right, good afternoon. Welcome, New Life City Church. Great to be with you this afternoon. And just up front, this is a really important podcast, a really important time. And so I'm going to start off with some quick details that we want to kind of bookend this time with. And these are some communication things I want to make sure everybody hears about. The first thing that kind of sets it up, if you haven't heard yet, Sunday, June the 7th, we're excited. We're going to, re-entry will occur, reunite. I'd rather call it reunite. It just sounds more engaging than re-entry. So June 7th, we'll be back. 2 services, 9 o'clock and 10:45. We're so blessed and fortunate. Our live stream has been a fantastic way to stay together, and it will continue going. So join our live stream at 10:45 if that's what works best for you. But we're still going to go back to our 2 services. So some communication coming up about that, and I want to make sure you guys understand this is this podcast will be coming out, so you'll be watching this on the 28th or sometime thereafter. On June the 1st, we're going to have a podcast with the elders. We want you guys to know more of the decisions that have gone into, or more of the information that's gone into these decisions, and know that we've taken time to pray through this, to listen to our community, our family, and so we're going to talk about that. Then on Sunday, this Sunday, we're going to have a video that's going to walk you through kind of a welcome to New Life. Here's what New Life post stay-at-home order is going to look like. There will be some changes, and we want you guys to know that we're making every effort to be safe and to be inviting at the same time. And we want you guys to see what that's going to look like. So if you do have any questions, you can ask, and you can also be comfortable with that. And then finally, next week, a couple of important days. We're going to offer 2 town hall meetings, and you can join either one of them. It's going to be the same thing, but just a time for you all to engage with us, ask questions, and find out more. So they're going to be on Zoom, so you'll have to contact us and let us know if you're interested in receiving that Zoom link. But that's going to be on Tuesday, June the 2nd, and that's at noon to 12:30. Or the other option is Thursday evening, June the 4th, and that is at 6 p.m. So let us know about that. So that's the communication stuff coming up, and so thanks for tuning in this afternoon. Want to give you guys an insight into what a little bit of what's been going on the last 10, 11, 12 weeks. We, right off the bat, as soon as things started, back at the 1st of March, we assembled what I've called the New Life COVID response team. And from the first week, I think it was March 15th that we met. We still met that Sunday. We had a team that was engaging okay, what do we do? What does this look like for us to meet? And so it's been great to work with these folks. And I just wanted to give a quick plug for that. This is how community is supposed to work. The body of Christ, we are one spirit, one body. Each person has a part to play. And this team is a team of really gifted and unique and passionate people. And that's what the church looks like. And so that's why we've called these people into this team. And so I want to introduce this team to you right now. There's a few people that aren't here right now. So let me introduce you to them, and then I'll introduce you to who's here.
Hello, my name is Carol Pursley. I wanted to be part of this team because I have experience in public health that could be helpful to my church family.
Hey, New Life City Church. My name is Gary Moore, and I am the facility director at New Life. I'm serving on the response team because I want to help and assist as we transition back to meeting together again. As a result, and because of the efforts of the team, I am passionate that our members and guests feel safe as we return for Sunday morning services, small groups, and events.
Hey everybody, my name is Joe.
And my name is Corinne. We wanted to be a part of this team because we're passionate about our mission, and part of that mission is to cultivate a relationship between Jesus and our Kid City kids in a safe and caring environment.
We're excited to see that mission lived out again with our team of New Life City Church volunteers.
Hi, I'm Mike Trevino, one of the elders at New Life City Church. I was happy to play a part in the COVID-19 response team because I wanted to make sure that not only did we have good external data gathered by Jay, but I wanted to make sure we had good internal data so that we knew the sentiment of the folks at New Life and how they were feeling about coming back together for worship.
Again, each of those folks have had such a great part in this. Another piece, and that's really important, he's been our data master, and he's put in countless hours in collecting information and data and knowing the place to go to. Jay Manifold has been the one that's helped to drive our conversations because of the information that he's gathered. So Jay, thanks for your efforts. Also on the team, of course, Pastor Troy and Pastor Don. And so, again, we've been meeting every Tuesday at noon for about 12 weeks now, engaging in these discussions of what this is going to look like. And so, huge thanks again to the team. I hope you guys, if you get a chance, thank them as well. Right now, we want to dig into a little bit of the information that's begun to shape us at this time. And so, I'm going to turn it over to our data master there, Jay Manifold. If you could lead us through some of that, Jay.
I will. I've got a few minutes of material here. Going to be a couple, 3 pauses during this for a little bit of a roundtable. But I want to briefly describe our situation and what we intend to do in the near future. Mayor Lucas's 6th amended order expires at 12:01 a.m. this coming Sunday, May 31st. After that time, we expect to be legally allowed to resume in-person church services at 25% capacity. We strongly believe the New Life City Church needs to quickly move beyond a stark choice between having no large in-person gatherings and doing things that might endanger congregants or vulnerable people they might visit. Yeah, it's important information there. So if we just take this information at face value, it's sounding like, okay, we're just following orders. And so I think an important aspect of that is we do want to respect authorities. We're part of a large community. However, we do know there's some things that we were just visiting. President Trump has made some comments about places of worship, and we understand we fall under that. But more importantly, we want to just be responsible to our community and to our church family. So that information's great, and that's not the only thing we base this on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that from a pastoral perspective, in our next podcast next week, we'll talk as a group of elders, but just there's this tension, right, that we have, and it's like the safety and security of everybody we care deeply about. And so how do we do that? But there's also a call to come together, you know, and different people fall along different parts of this. And our church is very diverse when it comes to even the political spectrum. And so we have a very broad group of people that attend here. So how do we shepherd well in this and find our way back safely? And that's really the difficulty, the conundrum that we're in, and we're praying through and very passionate about it. We want people to communicate to us. That's why we're having these town hall meetings. That's why everyone's invited actually every Tuesday to join in the group, and anybody could be a part of that. So that's a big part of it. So, yeah.
Okay, I want to acknowledge that group singing and large church meetings are risky. They've been the source of some super spreader events that you may have heard about, including some in the Kansas City area. And the zip codes just east and northeast of the church, where some of our congregants live, have the highest per capita incidence of COVID-19 rates in the city. It's a rate that ranges up to over 900 per 100,000 people in the old Northeast neighborhoods. That's more than 100 times the rate of some of the suburban and actually rural zip codes within KCMO. The good news is we've learned of an established technology called bipolar ionization, which, if added to our HVAC, will eliminate nearly all airborne pathogens. It is already being used in several major airports and hospitals, and many churches and event centers are adding it in response to COVID-19. We can quickly obtain these devices for all 6 of our HVAC units, covering the auditorium, Kid City, conference areas and offices, and the Val Exchange. Installation is relatively easy, and no replacement parts should be needed. See the News from New Life City Church email from Heather Ware, sent shortly after 3 p.m. on Wednesday the 27th, for more information and how you can help financially. If we act fast, this can be operating for our first service on Sunday the 7th of June.
Yeah, that's great stuff. I read some of the information you sent out about that, Jay. At Johns Hopkins Hospital uses this. That's a pretty good name right there, just to start with. And so this is not only are we responding into this COVID crisis, if you will. What that will do is that will just improve our air quality. So I don't know how many of you guys have allergies. Well, that's going to help that kind of stuff here in our building forever, and not just this time. So certainly a worthwhile investment, and it's relatively small. It's not budgeted. Many things during this time haven't been, but so any assistance would certainly be welcome. But yeah, and I think one last thing you guys might want to chime in on this is, the studies are out about the singing. There's a faith side of this that Troy, you alluded to, is we're a people who sing, and so we don't want to be irresponsible, but that's why we're taking some of these steps. And we know there's some people, Jay alluded to it earlier, there's just some people that some of you all that just may not be comfortable yet, and we understand. We love you. We're glad that you're going to continue joining us on the live stream, and we look forward to the day that we're all in person, and that may be something that does that. But for now, we think we have the steps in place that's going to be okay.
Yeah, and to me, it's like, as a church, how do we live with grace? Romans 14, I think you guys talked about last week in this podcast. How do we respect those with differing opinions? We have one opinion we agree on, and it's the gospel of Jesus. Yes. So this situation that we're in, we're going to have some different opinions that are going to come up alongside of here. And so how do we act in accordance? At the same time, how can we as a church do the best possible job of making it safe, sanitized, good air quality? Jay, you've done an incredible job doing all this research on this. And this is something that we think is a really important feature to add. And, 5 years from now, let's say they have a vaccine, the filters would still help with viruses of different types. And so it's more than just the coronavirus that we would help here. Like you mentioned, that we're going to leave the doors open, and we haven't mentioned this yet, but we're going to have socially distanced in the auditorium. We're going to have 3 additional rooms spread throughout with all separate exits that will have socially distanced seating in it. And so as we would have enough to fill this auditorium, we'll move to the next room, and the next room. So you'll be safe here from a social distance perspective, and you also won't be going back out the hallway, which we all know is very narrow. You're going to be going out through the alley and around to the cars to get out after the service. We're also going to keep it shorter depending on the pastor of the day. We'll keep those sermons trimmed down a little bit. We're going to try to keep it within the hour time frame, so we're not here for 4 hours, breathing everybody's air. Yeah.
Let's say that I'm home. I'm a member of New Life City Church, and I'm home, and I have 4 kids, and we're looking forward to June the 7th. Okay, at this stage, how do I know to come? So do I simply come, or do I need to register? Do I need to let you know that I'm wanting to come with my family?
So we're going to actually on our website, and this is going to be out hopefully by this Sunday. So Mike and I were meeting through this morning, like how the communication aspects of it and so forth. But on this website, you're actually going to be able to register for a service, and then we'll know that you're coming.
Very good.
And it's a pretty simple process that we have. So that's an option there.
I really appreciate you mentioning Romans chapter 14. Basically, that chapter emphasizes the importance of being preoccupied with our brothers and sisters and their well-being, rather than preoccupied with our rights. And we're approaching June the 7th with that attitude. We want every family to be comfortable to come and to know that we're taking steps, and we've done a lot of research, a lot of homework that's going to affect the air quality, the atmosphere, the length of the service, the seating arrangements, so that I can feel comfortable to come with my family on that day.
Yeah, unless, of course, you have any virus symptoms.
Very
then
good
we're
point.
asking you to stay home,
Okay.
For sure. Or if
Yes.
you've been around anybody that does. There's even a
Yes.
question in your mind. It's like, you know what? I think it's probably better. I'll just stay home for a few weeks. Do it. Watch the live stream.
We encourage you to do it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so
watch the live stream and enjoy the service that way, but stay home. There again, we are protecting our brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And making sure that this is going to be a safe and comfortable gathering.
And I'll bring up the masks because I know it's a hot topic. Jay, you got a nice mask going on over there, and
matches your shirt.
You're doing I was noticing with the mask, it gives a little bit of muffle to that radio voice, but man, it just is so smooth coming out of there still. So I got to give you that.
Gray hair, gray mask, gray shirt.
Jay, where did you get that haircut? Man, that looks good.
Yeah, that's I got the best barber in town.
Okay, so on the masks, we're going to ask our volunteers and staff to wear masks.
Yes.
We're going to encourage that. We're not mandating that. For whatever reason, it's your choice, and we're trying to be fair to everybody in this thing. So that's how that's going to go.
Okay, so there'll be people here with masks and people without.
I would assume.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Very good.
And that's the way things ought to be, to quote a movie line. Okay. And I want to acknowledge, getting back into some of the details on this, the technology I was talking about, it's not a silver bullet. For one thing, these devices only work when the HVAC fans are running. So we're going to have to run the blowers continuously on Sunday mornings and during any other high occupancy periods. And that's going to affect sound quality, especially during the sermon. So you may notice that. And again, to reiterate, as Pastor Troy mentioned earlier, at least initially, we're going to do seating socially distanced by household. That'll fit very roughly 40 or 50 people in the auditorium, and we do have a couple more rooms in back for some overflow, okay? And we will continue to carry out some extra sanitation of services and minimize attendee contact with high-touch services. Going to keep the garage doors on the street side of the auditorium open on Sunday mornings whenever the weather permits, which hopefully it will do for at least June. And finally, beyond all this, and this has already been mentioned a couple of times before too, but I just keep coming back to it, I would ask each of you to continue to pray for grace and union within this body, for peacemaking wherever it may be needed, and for mutual respect among believers. This is a big, big Romans 14 moment, and we need to get it right.
Very well stated. Very well stated.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, wherever you are on the spectrum of what you believe should be done, there's going to be a brother or sister here in our church family that believes exactly the opposite. So we're going to keep journeying through this with grace and with love and with serving one another. Reminds me of Philippians 2 says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourselves. And so, we just need to keep loving others in that way. So that would be my encouragement as well.
There's another passage that you just reminded me of, Jeff. Micah. He's shown the old man what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? But to do justly, to love mercy. Don't just be merciful. Fall in love with mercy. And to walk humbly with your God. So we want to do justly. We want to be responsible. We want to be careful. We want to be preoccupied with everyone else's well-being. And that person, that guy, that girl who thinks the exact opposite of what I think, that's where I begin to love mercy. I make room in my heart for their perspective. And I'm to walk humbly with my God. Yeah.
That's good. There might be a few practical things that I was thinking of.
Sure.
I was listening to you for like probably 80%, but I was also trying to think if I forgot anything. So sorry.
The book of Hezekiah.
He said Micah 6:8 though, so I know he said to do justly. So sorry.
Whatever it says.
Okay. And love mercy. So have mercy on me.
He didn't listen to me either, did he, Jay?
I did. I'm coming to you, Jeff. You said the book of Hezekiah. Inside joke before this started. We talked about the book of Hezekiah. So, man, it's going today. I had a couple cups of coffee. But my thought was, if there are parents with children,
Yes.
a couple things here. One is, for the beginning, there'll be no kids city. So you'll be sitting as a family.
Oh, good point.
So know that. Another thing is, Joe and Corinne will be sending out, who are our directors of Kids City, will be sending out a survey. You may have it by the time you watch this, you may not. But it's going to be coming out to ask you some of your familiarity and all those types of things. So it's going to be at least a few weeks, maybe more than that, before we would install any kids services. Again, we're looking really closely at the data that's around us and making sure that it seems like we're safe. Again, if we get some information on, June 4th that this is a bad idea, I think that we're all at a point where we can pull this back.
Sure we can.
And so you're watching this now, something changes, we're willing to change. We literally are trying to listen to the data. And in case you haven't known, this is another little detail. In the notes, in the info section underneath this, we're going to have a link to the data. I call it the manifolder. J Manifold, I lovingly call it the manifolder. This thing, and I've joked about this as well, Jay, and this is with all due respect to you, but I think we might have more information than the Pentagon. Maybe. So at least you have done an incredible job of gathering it together, and there is a Google, file folder, Google folders, whatever they are. There's so many different storage things for my stuff right now. I think it's called a Google folder. Is it a Google folder?
It's a shared drive on Google Drive, and it's got folders for PDFs and some other things.
There's a few PDFs in there.
A few. Yeah.
A few hundred. So look in there, and the link is there. You have access to it. This is really good information. In fact, I look forward to my email on Mondays from Jay to see where we're at on our numbers and all those types of things. And that's been very helpful along the way.
And if it turns out you don't have access to it, you know what email to use. support@newlifecity.org.
Good plug there, Jay. And if you're not a data person, but maybe you have insomnia, good place as well.
Yeah. No, in all seriousness, Jay, you are an incredible researcher and have done an incredible job. So are there other details that we might be not getting? We're going to obviously produce it all in a paper content and have it to everybody, but anything that you guys are thinking, just kind of we begin to communicate this process of coming back together?
I think we did mention the fact that doors are going to be open. We're going to try and create a situation where you will be required to touch as few things as possible.
Yes.
So no pushing of doors, opening and closing and what have you. We're going to have the garage doors open as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, the garage doors. We're going to ask for no hugs, no fist bumps.
And the normal greetings.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
No wet, sloppy kisses.
Yeah, no
sloppy kisses,
no
yes.
kisses, that kind of stuff.
So greet one another with a holy kiss will not apply June 7th.
Right.
Okay.
And we won't be having communion. There'll be a few things like this, sadly.
Yes.
But we'll get there at some point. We
Sure we
believe
will.
that in time it'll be safe. It'll be the right thing to do. So if you come, we won't be having that the first, for quite a while.
Yeah, that's a super strange thing to say, but this is a really strong encouragement. Even stronger than an encouragement is we're not going to hug, we're not going to shake hands, we're not going to, and it's for way more reasons than the virus. There's going to be people in here, just like we're a church that we preach the gospel every Sunday. But we also want it to be a safe place for people to walk in and hear a really dangerous message. In the same way with this virus, we don't know what people are how they're gonna react spiritually after all this. So we don't know who's coming through the doors, and there might be somebody that if they get a hug from a stranger, they're out and say that they don't hear the gospel message that will be preached on Sunday. And so we want to be really careful about that. And most of you watching this know that that's who we stand for as a church. So yeah, we just want to be real intentional and aware of that.
Can I say one more thing that I just am blessed by? So being a part of this team, which Jeff and Jay have led this team, there's been incredible unity. I mean, we haven't had any arguments. We haven't had anybody going back and forth. It's actually, I really enjoy the meeting. It's a good meeting. And with our elder team, same thing. Lots of unity, asking hard questions, and we have disagreements, of course. Nobody's the same on their viewpoints. But what a great place, and I feel like if our leadership is here, which I fully affirm, there's unity here in all areas. Like, we have each other's backs, we care for each other, we're loyal, friends to each other, want to help each other, want to help you that are listening. I believe our church is going to have the same thing, and so I am very optimistic that God's going to use this and work through this, and what's he going to do? I don't know. It's going to be great.
You're aware of the fact that Jay sounds like Humphrey Bogart with that mask on. I don't want to bring it up, but
there's only a few of us that know.
Richard Dreyfuss is usually the comparison I get.
Richard Dreyfuss. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the sound or the look or what, but yeah.
Isn't he on What About Bob?
Yes, he is. He's the doctor.
That's right.
Look at you.
There you go.
Dr.
That's the role.
Dr. Leo Marvin.
Yeah,
Leo Marvin. That's right.
Dr. Leo. I love that.
Leo Marvin.
I love that movie. We should watch that movie.
But I'm still moved by Humphrey Bogart.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, he was a cool guy. I don't mind being compared to him.
Are we digressing? We started with some serious stuff about coming back, and we ended with What About Bob?
Yeah.
What do we go? Where do we go from here?
That's a pretty good wrap.
Better tie a bow on this baby, Jeff.
I would also say this, and that is that our audience, feel free to contact us. You have a question, have a concern. We want to talk with you. We want to hear you.
Yeah.
And so feel free.
Yeah.
Whether you call in by phone or you email, text, what have you, we'd like to hear from you if you do have a question or concern.
We're just gonna take baby steps.
And that's another What About Bob line. I don't know if you did that intentionally.
You should kick me out of this podcast because that was
baby steps.
I had a hard time saying that. Okay.
Yeah, I could tell.
And I love
were
that, Jeff, you
struggling.
were for 2 seconds, you're yeah, let's go baby steps.
Yeah,
and then it's
no.
Troy, you can't do that to me.
Can we have some lines from Jaws instead? Or
all right.
You're going to start turning it. You're going to start giving us other terms that you should never ever use again.
Okay.
Never mind. We won't go. Okay, so thank you guys for staying engaged here. Again, really important stuff. Just to remind you, I'm going to fly over this super quick, but thanks for watching this podcast. This Sunday, a walkthrough of New Life City Church, what it's going to look like. Monday, we'll be posting a podcast with the elders, explain a little bit more about everything that's gone into it. Tuesday, town hall meeting at noon. And Thursday, the 4th, town hall meeting at 6 p.m. You'll need to email me, email one of us, support at New Life KC, to say, yes, send me a link, and we would love to do that. Those are the key dates, and then opening back up 6/7 on June the 7th, not January. Sorry. And we're done. So, thank you guys thanks for all the support during this time. For those of you that are going to stay at home a little bit longer, thank you guys for all the engagement you've had so far, and keep sending us. We're actually going to talk a little more at some point about how can we help you be more engaged while you're just trying to stay healthy. And so thanks to everyone. It's been an interesting journey, but there is a lot of unity that's come about. And thank you guys for all taking time to be here. Jay, again, thanks for all the work and the good information. So
For sure.
all right. Thanks. Blessings. We'll see you soon.